CareerTalk. I'm Susan Day with Hendricks CareerTalk, and we are here today with Gabe Bubolz with Middleton Construction. He is a project manager. Let's take it away and learn more about our project that's going on here at the ABC Supply Stadium. So how are you this morning?
Good, not too bad.
Good.
It's a little chilly this morning.
It's a little chilly, it is, definitely. As you can see, my glasses are fogging up. What's going on behind this wall right now? We were in there a little bit earlier shooting some footage, but what's happening?
So today we're pulling the slab on grade, some concrete. Roughly it's 5 inches thick with some fiber mesh in it. But that floor in there is going to be pretty much all covered for the most part. And it's just the base, what everyone's going to be walking on, holding the dead load, that kind of stuff. Just the structural part of it. Our last pour today, pouring out the door. We did 2 other pours over there, so decent sized one for a lot of hand work.
So question, obviously it's quite cold out today.
Yep.
So how were they able to pour concrete when it's so cold?
So big thing with pouring concrete in the cold, the area we're pouring is all enclosed. So with that, they're pumping heat in, and then it's got to be roughly 50 degrees and rising. So you want the ground to be unthawed 50 degrees and higher, the air temperature to be 50 degrees and higher, and then the concrete itself will give off heat and heat up itself, and it'll heat over time as it cures.
Tell us a little bit about what your position is then.
So I'm a project manager at Middleton Construction, and I do a lot of the estimating and then kind of oversee projects, kind of get them ready, submit submittals. Like each concrete pour, we have to have a different mix design, like what goes into the concrete, so like aggregate, cement, water, how much goes into it, the weight-wise, everything like that, the water-cement ratio. Different variety of other things like material that goes on the ground in the concrete.
Okay.
The structural part of it, like mesh or steel, rebar, and then hand it off to a scheduler, and he takes it from there for the most part.
We're going to do things a little differently today. We're going to have some phone-in questions from students around the area. Let's get started.
So tell me a little bit about what we're seeing. What's going on at the building right now?
Good question. With the gist of it, we're laying concrete on the ground, getting that slab on grade there. And then with that, we got some buggies driving, laying the concrete just because the truck can't get in there. It's too small, too tight of an area. So we got the concrete being laid by buggies. And then we got guys placing the concrete with the screed, that little four-wheeler type thing that they're riding behind going. That's pulling the concrete and getting it flat. And then once they get it flat, they run by with a bull float and float it to seal the concrete, get it nice and flat so there's no air bubbles or something like that. And then if the area is too tight to do that, they're hand screed it. It's kind of like that silver strike off, and then they hand strike that, which is pretty back intensive, but luckily we got a lot of screeds, that kind of stuff to take the labor away from it. And then once they get all that flattened, striked off, everything done, they're gonna throw some riders onto the slab and start finishing it, which will smooth it out even more, get a nice burnish finish, flat finish. And then they'll harden, they'll finish it with the machines until it gets hard, so they'll be on the slab for another several hours after the pour, just driving on it with those machines and flattening it. So that's the gist of it.
Can you tell me a little bit about the jobs that are on your crew today?
With that question, going back on it, each position, each order has a different job title. So the guy delivering the concrete is just a driver for Lycon, concrete producer or ready mix provider. So they're employed by someone else, not us. We just order the concrete through them, which our foreman would do, which they kind of oversee the job, get everything done, make sure everything's within spec, everything's done right. So the guys driving the buggies could be either like laborers or finishers, concrete finishers. So either or, and then once you get to the slab placement itself, the prep work, there's boards, if they got to shut off the concrete at a place so it doesn't run over or edge it. Usually a carpenter would do that, which we got a bunch of carpenters in our company. And then once you get to the slab itself, the placement, you got laborers to place the concrete and get it on the ground. And then you got the guys that are trying to get the spec the FFFL numbers, and that is the finishers. They're the ones that make it look pretty or look good, get it flat, finish it, get the machines on there, and then the guy driving the screed, he'd be a finisher, and then that's the gist of the process.
What do you mean when you say on spec or up to spec?
With that spec question, it was make sure it's flat, or if a floor has an FFFL number, which has to be so flat over a certain distance or just within that area. Do it locally, but it has to be the entire slab. So it could be like a 30-20, and our finishers are just getting it with the machines to make sure it's flat enough. So if it does get covered or there's board or something that needs to be placed on it, like drywall or something, it has to be flat. Otherwise you got ridges going like this and the board's trying to sit and you got the gap right here is a big thing.
Hi, I'm Kaylin, and I'm just wondering if you've ever done any of the other jobs that we saw on the site today.
I actually went to school for construction management, project management, but before I went to school and then when I was going to school, I was actually working in the field as a laborer / carpenter. So we're doing flat work now, but we do walls also, foundation walls, that kind of stuff. So I worked in the field for 4 summers, and I was on mostly wall jobs, building foundation walls, so moving forms, pouring concrete in walls, that kind of stuff. And then I did do some flat work here and there, which I helped finish the concrete, drive buggies on it, kind of hand screed it, kind of everything, operate the equipment. So I've experienced a little bit of everything within our company.
So what's your role here today with the work that's going on the site?
Well, my role today was just kind of oversee, see if anything changed, kind of check in on the job, see where it's going. So I kind of oversee the job in cost-wise. So with the project manager, I'm trying to figure out cost of the job, make sure we turn a profit, of course, and that we're not here doing free labor or losing money is the biggest thing. So making sure if anything changed, anything got added, that I get a cost associated to it, and then making sure our guys just are doing all right, making sure everything's up to par. And if anything needs to change or anything I see needs to be different, I can let our scheduler or the foreman know, and then they can take care of it.
Do you think it helped to work in the field while you were going to school?
So the big thing with working for the company before going to school and during school, originally I thought I was going to go into engineering, and this kind of voided me to a different route to go into that construction management because I enjoyed it so much. It's once you're on the job doing work, it's so fulfilling to get that work done because you can see the end goal, whereas sometimes if you're an accountant, you might not see anything besides the numbers the entire time, where I see up front, it's just ground, nothing there, and then 6 months down the road, we got a building up and it's all done, and we were able to do that work and do that. That's kind of why I went this route, just to see that.
So just curious, are you from the area? And if so, are you going to come to a game in the future?
I actually travel from the Madison area. I'm from a small town, Cambria, so it's roughly 700 people. I went to school with a graduating class of, I think, 23 people. And then I ended up going to college at the University of Wisconsin, Platteville. So, small town growing up, small college, but wouldn't have it any other way. Yeah, I might come to a game once in a while. We'll have to see. Depends how good they are. That's the thing.
So, if I were to be going into construction straight out of high school, how much money would I be making?
So that's a big thing about going into union after college is you do get paid. I mean, our laborers are making close to $20 an hour starting off. Our finishers, our carpenters, they're all making over 20. And then once they go to school, get their finish their apprenticeship and they're topped out, they're making close or over $30 an hour. And that was not going to school, doing anything. They had their apprenticeship education paid for. They got paid to go to their education, or to get their education and do their apprenticeship program. So it's a win-win. And then as you're in the union, part of your dues that come out of your paycheck, which you don't really see, but it pays for your health insurance, dental, and then your pension. So once you do reach your retirement age, there's a pension for you guys if you're in the union, and you don't have to worry about saving as much going forward, but you still should save always a percentage of your paycheck.
Hi, I'm Reed, and I'm wondering where you see yourself in 5 to 10 years.
So for my career plans, I would like to continue working for Middleton Construction, keep doing project management, try to get some ins with bigger companies, as in work doing with them, so other general contractors that do big flat work jobs. One of my bosses right now does a lot of work with Uline, and then we do other work with like Amazon a little bit, so they're big warehouses. I ideally would like to get in contact with one of those big companies, start getting some slabs for them, make my name more known in the company, and then around Wisconsin, Midwest area. And then also with that, working up, maybe start or take over the construction company or work for my own construction company or something like that down the road.
What's your advice for someone coming out of high school and going into construction?
My advice to the younger generation, of course, graduate high school, go from there, but you gotta remember to always have that hard work, that grit, that 100% attitude. The biggest thing that can turn a job site down or a crew down is having that one negative guy. If everyone's negative or everyone's positive, it's gonna be a world of a difference. I mean, if you got positive guys on the job, positive outcome, whatever you're doing, be there on time, ready to work, and have that mindset that you're gonna do the best you can at what you're doing every day, even if you don't wanna do it. Just having that mindset that you are gonna do good at it, you're gonna have a great time. It's gonna change that to, I don't wanna do it, to, it's not that bad, to, it's a good time, you're learning something. And then another aspect is don't always go with the grain, kind of go against the grain. So everyone says nowadays, go to college, do something like that. Well, you could go to the union, or join the union, be a tradesman, do that for a few years, see how you like it, and then if you don't like it, go back or go to college for something else, and then you don't have to take out all those loans, and you're ahead of the game already. So there's different routes rather than just, I need to go to school, get my college diploma, and then go from there. So go against the grain and that stuff, but just to top it off, hard work and then a good attitude is the biggest thing.
Thank you to the students for all those awesome questions. And Gabe, thanks for taking time out of your busy day to join us. We truly appreciate it. Students, if you're interested in more information about Middleton Construction, feel free to contact me, Susan, at CareerTalk, and I can always put you in contact with Gabe. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.